dear beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Patrice and this is the Big Mouth Gal YouTube channel where we read Reddit stories and we definitely judge, alright? So we have a few of them for you. Let us get started, alright? First one is from the r/relationship advice subreddit. My 32 male girlfriend, 35 female, saved my name as dad on his phone. I found out how can I do? I can read, I promise. That is just how they wrote it. My girlfriend told me she was going to have dinner with an older coworker. I said, okay. All right, right off the bat, red flag. So no name to the coworker, just older. Why does it matter that it's older? Just saying, why not just having dinner with a coworker? But let us read. After that, I knew she was meeting her coworker for dinner. But then she sent me a screenshot of our chat. She said she wanted to show me that her battery was low so I'd know if she couldn't reply for a while. I understood her intention in sending the screenshot. But in the screenshot, my contact was saved as dad. She said she changed my name temporarily while she was with her coworker. Okay. She says it was just a misunderstanding and an accident. Like this, babe, you're misunderstanding this, right? I only changed it for a moment while I was talking with my coworker. I can explain over the phone if you want. I haven't been answering her messages because I feel suspicious, as you should. She offered to call and explain everything to me, but honestly, I don't know how can I doing. Sorry. Then it says added one. I saw you at OO. But I'm not sure if you remember me. So I take it that this is the person she went on the dinner with that is texting the boyfriend. While I was with her, she mentioned that her boyfriend seemed to be misunderstanding something because she changed the name in the chat app. So I feel like I'm not completely unrelated to this situation. I'm sorry if it's rude to contact you like this, but I feel I had to tell you that it really wasn't anything. I'm reaching out because I feel sorry and frustrated. Why are you feeling frustrated? Okay. But I apologize if this sudden message is surprising. 3 days later, today, I received this text message from an unknown number. Okay. This is the female coworker she said she had dinner with at the time. I've met her once before, together with my girlfriend, and on the day in question, my girlfriend also told me she was meeting this person. Added 2. I blocked her for 3 days. Her excuses like, I only changed it for a moment. It's a misunderstanding. I can explain. Just sounded lame to me. I work in law enforcement, and I've seen quite a few cases like this. So since she had no way to contact me directly, I guess she got in touch through the female coworker she claimed to have met that day. Thank you, everyone. It looks like she even called me about 5 hours ago. There was no notification, but the call log shows it's Samsung phone. I think it's time for me to stop hurting and start living my own life. We were together for 2 years and she's even proposed to me. But I kept dragging things out because I wasn't sure. In a way, maybe she was starting to feel impatient, so I can understand her a bit. It's my fault and I just want to remember the good times. Where she tries to contact me again after a week, I'll have to tell her to stop. If she has any decency, would she really try to reach out again even then? Okay, so it seems like English is not OP's first language, so because there is like a lot of typos in there. However, in what scenario, okay, would you be having dinner with a coworker and they saw you had to change your boyfriend's name to dad? So if the boyfriend calls or texts, dad would pop up and it would make your coworker feel better or okay, or I don't get it. Because she said, babe, you're misunderstanding this, right? I only changed it for a moment while I was talking to my coworker, with my coworker. So what conversation was she having that she needed to change it to dad? Was she saying that, oh my gosh, my dad is so overprotective. When I'm on dates, he's always checking on me. So is that the reason why she changed it? Because like that's the only thing I could think of. It's either she had changed this like a long time ago or before this to dad because she was out and he was probably blowing up her phone and she just wanted an excuse and it was like, no, it's just my dad. I'll just, ignore the calls or the text messages. And forgot to change it back. Or this is her first time and she's out on a date with someone and then that's why she changed it because she was like, I'm single. Like, I don't got a man. I don't know what y'all talking about. I am single and she's out here mingling. Because that's the only other explanation. But dad though? Bro. And then the coworker is older. I don't get the older coworker. Like, hey, I'm going out with this coworker. Why is it that the coworker has to be labeled as older? Is it that it's safer with the older? Or he wouldn't judge as much if it was a young person or an older. This is weird. But let me read the top comments. Top comment says, they quoted what he said and says, in what scenario, same thing I said, would it be inappropriate for a coworker to see her boyfriend's name on the screen? This makes no sense. When she tells her coworker that she's single and doesn't want the risk of her coworker seeing a notification from hubby, for sure. Someone says she's too old to think those games are gonna work. Bro, just go. You'll be alright, because this don't make no sense. I know you said, though, in the last bit that, I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that, because, yeah. No, this post is from the Am I the A-hole subreddit. Am I the a-hole for reminding my brother's girlfriend that I own half of the house we live in so she can't easily get rid of me? I'm 15 female and have been living with my big brother 25 male for the last 3 years. Our dad died 3 years ago and our mom abandoned us 7 years ago and is living abroad in Japan with her new family. I'm very independent and doesn't need a lot of attention and generally mind my own business. So I'm not a nuisance or a third wheel. I just need to be left alone. The house we lived in belonged to our dad and he left it equally to both of us. My brother's been seeing his girlfriend for My brother has been seeing his girlfriend for a couple of years now. She's not bad and I generally like her. However, she wants to move in here and they're talking about getting serious. I talked to my brother about how this would work and he thinks it's too soon to discuss it and we'll sort the details out when it's more serious. Okay, so the other day she came to me and asked about my plans about uni and if I wanted to stay around and told her that, yeah, I plan to stay home while going to uni. She suggested it might be good for my growth. How concerned she is to go to a different city and get exposed to new experiences and people. Also suggested boarding school for next year. I smell BS, so told her that what it's really about, and she mentioned that they're getting serious and wanted to start a family soon, and I won't have a place here as they are growing their family. Talked about importance of nuclear family and all that nonsense. I don't like this girlfriend. I asked, why is she trying to get rid of me? I've done her no harm, and she said it isn't personal, and it's just their family will deserve to have their own space without relatives living with them. It's not personal. I reminded her that I own half of this space, so she's delusional if she thinks she can just get rid of me. She initially said my brother has done enough for me already, and it's fine I do something for him, but also said let's not continue this discussion. So it seems like she did not know that you owned half this house. It doesn't sound like she knew that. Later, my brother told me I was unnecessarily aggressive and insisted, wow. Later, my brother told me I was unnecessarily aggressive and instead should have come to him about what she said. I told him I didn't approach her. She was trying to manipulate to get rid of me. He thinks she was wrong to do that, but I was unnecessarily aggressive and she didn't mean bad, and now I've damaged our relationship maybe permanently. Later, he had a fight with her. He hasn't talked to me since then, 4 days ago. She also hasn't been over since. Am I the a-hole for being too aggressive with her? No, you're not the a-hole. From what you wrote, it doesn't sound like you were aggressive. However, The brother wasn't there, and he's coming to accuse you of being aggressive without hearing your side of the story, which is very concerning to me. That just means that the girlfriend is very, very manipulative. And the fact that she went to him saying how you were aggressive, and she probably like downplayed her part to make herself look better. But how dare her though? I don't like her. I don't like her. Now she wants to come in and she wants to tell you, oh, you should go here for uni to get rid of you so she can start her own family. Like, you are all, both of you got, your dad's passed, your mom's abandoned you. That's the only family you have, and she's trying to break that up. She's not a good girlfriend. Nope. Nope. And your brother needs to run. Okay? How is it, as a grown-up, you're going to tell a 15-year-old, right, that she should consider moving to a new city for uni or consider boarding school, something like a stepmom, right? And that she should do something for her brother because her brother has already done enough for her. Like, ma'am. Also, no, she's underage. The brother's 25. He would be her legal guardian, is what I'm assuming, right? And if she's a minor and he's a legal guardian, just moving someone in is not even like, I don't know, depending on where you live, that's not even something that he should be doing. I don't know. Listen, I'm not a professional at this. I'm just judging over here with the camera and my phone. But she sounds terrible. And I think the brother should dump her and run. All right? Let us see the top comment here. Not the a-hole. All these things she was suggesting, like boarding school, who would be paying for it? Your inheritance, brother? Because it doesn't sound like it would be her covering any cost. It's yours and your brother's house. Even if she did move in, it would still be yours and your brother's house. She would just be living there. I'd have been a lot more blunt if someone had the audacity to tell me to move out because they felt entitled to my inheritance and what I should be doing with it. In my opinion, the fact she hasn't been over, they haven't spoken, is probably because she doubled down on what she said to you. Interesting. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like her. Like, you just trying to come between the brother and the sister when that's all they got. That's the part that I hate. Hate. So this one is from the same subreddit, Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for lying about where I'm going to college so my stepsister wouldn't follow me? My mom married her husband Mike when I, 18 female, was 9. Mike had a daughter called Charlotte, who was the same age as me. My mom loved having another girl, and Charlotte never had a mom in her life, so the two of them bonded super fast, and mom was excited to have almost twins, which is what my mom used to call us. Charlotte acts younger than she is. Always has. She gets attached and wants to be with someone 24/7 and followed me around the whole time like she was a much younger sibling. She'd do the same with mom too. Mom loved it and would encourage it, and she forced me to put up with it. She scolded me regularly when I didn't want to spend time with Charlotte or I was short with her. Mom told me Charlotte was my sister and now I should embrace having someone who loved and wanted me around so bad. I tried to explain to my mom that having Charlotte follow me around and be forced on me 24/7 was making me dislike her and not want to give her a chance. But my mom told me that was a child's way of thinking, about it, and 9-year-olds are big girls. Then when I tried to talk to my mom about it at 12, she told me I was old enough to be mature and loving, to know the true meaning of family is to love and appreciate those who treat us well, and Charlotte adored me and would do anything for me. I said that wasn't true because she would not leave me alone. Mom hated that I wanted that. We fought a lot when I was 14 to 16, and then I learned to stop speaking to mom. What sucked most was I could talk to extended family and ask for them to try to talk to mom, but it didn't work and my dad's dead, so I didn't have another parent to run to. I knew when I was 15 that my mom and Charlotte wanted us to attend college together and they were planning to have us go to the same school. I tried to get Charlotte to understand that we needed the separation and we shouldn't base our schools on each other, but she was set on following me. My mom didn't support me either, and she made it a big deal that I wanted distance from Charlotte. So when college shark talk was happening, more seriously, I lied about where I was applying to. I made sure all the schools I mentioned to mom and Charlotte were pretty far from where I was actually planning to go. Charlotte accepted where she and mom thought I accepted, but it wasn't. Before graduation, I moved into my paternal aunt's house to avoid the backlash that I knew would come. Now the truth is out there, and Charlotte decided she's not going to college at all. My mom is furious, and she tried to shame me for the stunt of tearing our family apart. She told me I had a lot of making up to do, and I told her in reply that I don't regret my decision. I said my only regret is that I was forced to lie. Mom said nobody forced me to lie, and I said they did by giving me no choice but to accept Charlotte following me. I told Mom I knew either her or Charlotte would have sabotaged me if I openly applied to a school Charlotte couldn't attend. Mom told me I wasn't thinking of what was best for Charlotte. As an afterthought, she said, for me. I told her the best thing for Charlotte is no concern of mine. Mom said that wasn't kind and I should be kind. My mom asked my maternal aunt, as in her sister, to talk to me. My aunt did, and she told me she understood why I did what I did, but I should apologize and at least regret lying a little because I interrupted Charlotte's plans with my actions. I told her I did not want to be in the same college as Charlotte, and I didn't want to be in the same state as her. My aunt said it was extreme to feel so strongly about it instead of keeping my distance at college. She told me I lied so easily and could have handled it a far more mature way. She said communication is key. I asked her what good communication was when my mom willingly ignores my communication attempts. Mom was furious when my aunt told her everything I said. I feel like while lying isn't the ideal or a first choice people should use, but I feel like I was left with no other choice. Maybe I'm too close to judge this though, so I'm asking, am I the a-hole? No. You're definitely not the a-hole, and at 18 years old, I don't know why people think that you would have like a whole different way of going about this, especially when you've tried to talk to your mom about this since you were 9. Since you were 9, your mom married and forced this child on you, okay? She just like, oh my gosh, this is the family I always wanted, and has as her child, she's like, well, you're my child. You won't hate me. I can do whatever I want. I can say whatever I want, kind of deal. So yeah. So she used all those tactics. No, Charlotte needs us. She loved having Charlotte stick on to her and all this stuff. Charlotte sounds like she got attachment issues. Codependency issues, which is something that your mom probably should have saw and treated and got her some help while she was 9. But instead, she just wanted her to be clingy and all the things and build this big, beautiful family at the expense of her daughter. She never listened to you. It's whatever she wanted. No, I'm not faulting you for lying, okay? Could you have done it a better way? I don't see how, especially if you voiced your opinion and you knew that they were not going to listen to you. And then no one sees the issue that Charlotte just canceled college because she's not going to the same college as you. Like, that doesn't ring any bells. No alarms, nothing. She's like, oh, I can't go to the same college as her. I'm not going anymore. No one is trying to convince Charlotte, be like, hey, this would be good for you. If you don't want to go to one in another state, then stay home and go to a university here. You can travel back and forth. Because, like, your aunt, she's an asshole too, or a-hole, sorry. Because she's speaking up for her sister, like she wants to be in her sister's good graces, because she's saying, oh, you could have went to the same college, I guess ignore her. But no, your mom probably would have forced you to room with her, okay? And then she probably would have taken the same classes. Listen, she probably would have tried the same major, okay? Because the codependency issue with Charlotte, I think it just runs deep because it don't make no sense. Okay? So are you the a-hole? No. Do I fault you for lying? I don't think so. I don't think so, girl. No. But let's see what Reddit has to say. She said, all right, so this comment said, Mom did Charlotte no favors by coddling Charlotte's neediness and codependency. Sadly, OP was right that since Mom refused to address the codependency and criticize any attempts at independence, that she had no choice but to lie about where to apply to college. Notably, the mom didn't deny OP saying someone would have sabotaged their college choice. Oh, I didn't think about that. Their college choices had they been open and honest. Aunt is naive that if OP and Charlotte attending college together, that OP could somehow keep her distant. Occasional classes together, room together, and how dare OP not eat together and exclude her from activities. My other thing though, as it, like within like with the husband though, he didn't think that this is weird. I mean, like Charlotte's dad, like he didn't think that was no, okay, alrighty. All right, so this next story is from the Two Hot Takes subreddit. Sister-in-law expressed, I don't deserve our new house. Now husband's family is melting down. Wow. Advice needed. My husband, 38 male, and I, 33 female, just bought our first house. My husband has a pretty high-paying job. I work and make a decent salary, but our budget to buy our house was definitely influenced more by his earnings. He had his family over last week. Generally, I loved his parents. They've always been really good to me and they're fun. I have not spent as much time with his sister outside of holiday gatherings, but we do have her son, husband's nephew, stay with us for a week over the summer the last few years. So I know him well too and I love him. So everyone mentioned above comes over and we show them around the house. At one point, I'm showing sister-in-law a kitchenette in the basement, and I say something like, it's great that our house has this space now. So if you want to visit us, you'll have basically a separate apartment. And she goes, our? Is it also your house? Behave yourself, Patrice. I'm immediately confused, but also I guess she could have assumed my husband bought it on his own. I said, yeah, we bought it together. And she goes, do you think you deserve to own half of his house? I don't know. I just think that's crazy. But you're his wife, so what? See, you can tell, right? The people in life that grew up without getting punched at least one time. There are certain people who have never gotten their butt whooped, not one good time for running their mouth growing up. And it shows when they become adults. This is one of them. I was shocked and I mostly panicked and said, well, I do, yeah, and fled the basement. I immediately told my husband away from his family and he, in turn, immediately went to talk to his sister. I went to hang out with his parents and didn't say anything to them. But then we heard shouting outside. My husband and his sister were yelling at each other. I know people are different with their siblings, but I've never really heard him yell before. I would hear him tell her what we don't have. I could hear him tell her that we don't have a prenup, and she called him an idiot. I had to tell his parents what was going on. They went and intervened and left pretty quickly with his sister and nephew. Who didn't hear any of this through the magic of video games, I think. His mom said sorry to me on the way out. I did touch base with my husband, and he was livid, like way more angrier than I'd expect. He told me that before we got married, his sister was the beneficiary of his life insurance, and he thought she was angry over essentially being removed from all his assets. But we've been married 3 years. She apparently had texted him about being added to the house paperwork a few years ago during the buying process, and he just ignored her. I'm confused. Why would the sister want to be added to the paperwork? Entitled, maybe, let me continue reading. His parents have reached out to me and have been very sweet, apologetic, but they really want to fix things and have asked if I'll talk to sister-in-law. I'm trying to step away from it and just say it's now between my husband and his sister. Is that fair? Of course, I'm a bit hurt by her saying that, but at the end of the day, is she If she has problems with how he's handling his assets, that's between the two of them, right? I feel really bad because his family has always been so sweet and I really love his nephew. So I also want things to be fixed. Edit. Wow, this blew up a bit. I will make an update. We have plans to chat about it today and speak with his parents and figure out how we want to go forward. I agree with essentially all of you, and I'm not planning to discuss it with her until she apologizes and to answer some common questions. Nephew's dad is not and has not been in the picture for a long time. Sister-in-law has been in and out of relationship with not the best types of dudes. She is younger and there's no other sibling. Yes, there's been a pattern of her getting more help from their parents, but it's because she really needs it with being a single mom, and my husband has always been pretty independent. I promise, I don't tell every person on the street about our lack of a prenup. My husband did come into the marriage with a lot of assets, so I think when his friends and family expressed curiosity about a prenup, it was coming from a place of concern, care for him, and I love that. So it felt appropriate to share how we made that decision. No one ever pushed back. I've never talked to his sister about it, and I think she didn't know, but my husband sort of yelled it at her in anger in a we don't have a prenup way. We are planning on kids, but could still keep up what we currently do for nephew, even if we and he just became an official teenager. So the college fund is close to complete at this stage. We don't add much money to it anymore. It's just accruing. Okay, you know how sometimes they say that parents don't have favorite kids? That is a lie. I have read enough Reddit stories to know when the baby was spoiled and get everything she wanted. No, the parent is helping out. She was the beneficiary and all the things for her brother, and then no wifey come and she feels left out. But I cannot understand as a grown up why you would. You know, the Bible says to leave and cleave. You leave your family, your wife, your mother, and everything, and you cleave to your wife, and they make decisions together. So her assuming that the house would be solely her brother's and her wanting her name added to it, how that makes sense if the man married? The sister sounds delusional and entitled. But let us see what Reddit thinks, okay? Definitely not the a-hole, but because this wasn't asking about the a-hole, but so I don't understand this response, but what could you possibly say to your sister-in-law? I think you say that the issue isn't really about you. It's about how sister-in-law thinks everything that is your husband's is part hers. That's something your husband needs to set straight, not you. You just sit there and stay pleasant. You handle this perfectly. It's not your battle and your husband has your back. Clearly, sister-in-law sounds insane. And that one has 3,210 upvotes. This is insane. Wow. Oh my gosh. So this last story comes from the Am I the A-hole subreddit, okay? I, 17 male, don't know if I'm the bad guy for talking to my dad the way I did, so I'm coming on here to ask. See, Dad and I have a complicated relationship, but he's the only bio parent I have, and I don't have a lot of family willing to take me in or support me. At the same time, I don't think it's fair for my dad to play dumb like he did. When I was 3, my dad married Tina. Tina was a widow with 4 kids. 3 of them were older, 17, 19, and 20 at the time, and her youngest, Casper, was 4. When Tina and my dad married, her 17-year-old moved in with their older siblings and chose not to live with us at all. Her older kids weren't happy about their mom getting remarried, so they really didn't treat me or dad like family. Red flag number 1. Casper and I got along fine when we were a lot younger. We were growing up in the same house, so we played together and spent time doing stuff like brothers. But it was always pretty obvious we weren't when Casper's older siblings were around. Casper saw them a few times a month. I saw them maybe twice or 3 times a year. Every time they ignored me. At Christmas, they would show up with gifts for Casper and nothing for me. And when he was younger, Casper would try to share the gifts with me, and they'd tell him not to, and they'd stop him from asking for my help opening them. See, this is the issue. And mom did nothing. The mother did nothing to try to bridge the gap, to help, to mend the relationship. None of that. Neither did the dad. But again, the kids didn't like him, so I can understand him trying to stay out of it. But the mother or stepmom, she should have put a stop to them trying to break the two of them up or alienate them and trying to, put a strain on the relationship, but she did not. So I get it. Over time, Casper started spending more time with them, and then he started treating me like I did something wrong. Once that happened, he would brag about his siblings and the stuff they did for him and bought for him, and he enjoyed opening their gifts in front of me. Every Christmas, it was the same thing. My dad and Tina saw what they said and did nothing about it. We spent time with Tina's family and not with anyone on dad's side of the family, so nobody saw a problem with it. But even when we did occasionally see someone from dad's family, it wasn't like they cared. My dad wasn't close with his family, and they didn't seem to give a bleep about me. I never knew anyone on my maternal side, but I always assumed they felt the same since my mom hadn't wanted me when she was alive and died when I was 2 from drugs. Oh, dang. When I was 12 and Casper was 13, he told me his siblings hated me and that they wished my mom had taken me with her when she died. Dang, they're some evil ass kids. That's how I found out that dad had told Tina and her older kids about my mom, and it was always clear how her kids felt about me. So it hurt, to know dad shared something so big with them. Something they could use to hurt me. Casper told me they wanted me to go before they'd ever visit our house, or he wished for me to go away too. Casper graduated high school a few days ago. His older siblings were there, and afterward everyone had a graduation dinner, which is when my dad and Tina gave a speech and Casper interrupted when they called me his brother. He corrected them and said I wasn't his brother. His older siblings told Tina it was gross and disgusting to even pretend for half a second that I was anything to them, and how dare she and dad ruin Casper's graduation. My dad acted surprised, and it pissed me off. He said something like he thought Casper and I were as thick as thieves. I got mad and told dad that was BS. That he saw me being left out every single time Tina's kids were around. How Casper pulled away from me and bragged about the stuff he did with his siblings and the gifts they gave him. I said he was not so dumb that he wouldn't notice when it happened right in front of him. I told him he didn't get to play now because it was being outed so publicly. Dad was like, you should have told me, which I did many times, and that he was only thinking of his happiness. I told him it was BS, and he put his happiness first because no kid would be happy being ignored most of the time and treated like shyster during certain times. I left the dinner, and things continued without me. Tina came to my room, and after she got back with dad, and she told me to apologize because I really upset dad when I shamed him in front of everyone like that. Then dad approached me after a couple of days, and he was like, why would you talk to me that way? And you know I love you, and had no idea you felt unwanted. I told him he didn't want to know about it, but it's fine, and I'll be out of his hair this time next year, so just leave me alone. Dad left, and Tina came up a few minutes later and said dad still needed that apology. Am I the a-hole? I don't even care about fixing things. I just want to keep my head down and get out. This is sad. This is really sad. As his only child, right? Because she has 4, he has 1. And every Christmas since he was 3, the older siblings did this. He never tried to make it up by getting his kid extra gifts, right? And neither him nor the mom was like, because they can't control the older kids. But they could have definitely tried to mend the bond between him and Casper. When the older kids were like, oh, that's not your brother. They could have made it better. But Mom Tina, she evil. She did not do anything. And then to have her kids at the dinner be like, oh, that's not his brother. How dare you say something like that? She could have corrected them. But no, she did not. But then she gonna get mad at this other son, right? Her stepson, for how he spoke. That young man was frustrated. At 17 years old, he was frustrated and done with all of them. And then they're going to be like, oh, you need to apologize. Apologize for what? You're not the a-hole. I don't know what your tone was or any of that. And people probably be like, oh my gosh, it's not right for them to speak to the parents a certain way. Sometimes you got to do it and deal with the consequences. He doesn't have a mom. The maternal side of the family, he doesn't have that. Dad's not close to his side of the family, so he has no one. The one person in life that should have his back does not, right? Because he wants to play like he's happy, and he's probably kissing Tina's butt and does everything Tina wants. And yeah, Casper is probably the one he's claiming has his kid, but Casper don't want nothing to do with him either, right? And you treat your one and only child like an afterthought. Oh, you didn't tell me. Why he need to tell you? You could see it. I hate parents like these, okay? And then the part that ticks me off the most is after he blew up and left the dinner, things continued without him, right? So the perfect family was still there eating without the child they don't want. And then Tina is the one that went up. He did not go up to talk to his child first because he didn't care. Tina went up and like, oh, you need to apologize to that. Nobody acknowledged how he felt. No one tried to fix it, to say nothing. It's like, you need to apologize. You should not have spoken to him. Oh, you shouldn't have told the truth. That's basically what you want to say. He shouldn't have told the truth. I hate this. As someone who had absentee parents, in the later years, my dad came through and yeah, we good. But as someone who had an absentee mom, I still deal with that. So it triggers the heck out of me when it's kind of like a situation like that. You know what I'm saying? I hate it. But let us see what Reddit got to say, okay? Let us see. Not the a-hole. Never ever apologize. Some grudges are meant to be kept. Well, I don't know about that part. I hate when they play the victim to get you to apologize for getting mad instead of taking responsibility for what they did to make you mad. Amen. Amen, Goldisha. Girl. Because listen, that is ridiculous. Absolutely agree. You're not the a-hole. Some people weaponize victimhood to dodge accountability, and it's manipulative. You're right not to apologize when your anger is a reaction to their actions. Holding a grudge isn't always petty. Sometimes it's just self-respect. I love this comment so much. This is from Dumpy Puss. Hold on now. What kind of name is that? But I love this comment. Like, everything that's floating around in this brain of mine, perfectly summed up. Yeah. So that is it for today's video. If you like it, comment down below what you think about these stories. Subscribe if you have not. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.